What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 150. 150 episodes of The Rise to Glory. Absolutely insane, obviously. Thank you so much for your guys' support on this series. This makes it my longest running series by quite some way. I'm still enjoying this save. There's still tons left to do. As always, if you enjoy this video, smash the like button. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes for this mini kind of landmark, I guess. Today, to mark the occasion, I have a triple livecom special. We will be starting with this game against Gibraltar Lions in the Primera Division, and following it up with a double header against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. We both will be playing them at home and away. Two must-win games, really, off the back of that defeat against Utrecht last episode. One game I didn't talk about was how he opened up the Primera Division last episode, and that was with a 6-0 win. Of course, that came between the two Champions League games you saw. Anyway, obviously not a lot's happened since the last episode. We have Gibraltar Lions today. In terms of the team, this is what we're going to play. It's a 4-2-3-1. It's a very good team. It's a strong team. And I'm hoping that it's going to be able to do the business for us today. There's no kind of crazy names on the team sheet, I don't think. A little bit of rotation here and there. We're going to play the 4-2-3-1 at least to begin with. And yeah, let's just get straight into this game. As you can see here, we have played Gibraltar Lions 100 times. This is the 101st meeting. 101st? 101st, is it is 101st. 101st doesn't sound right, but it must be that. It's at the 101st meeting between the teams. That doesn't sound right. Either way, it's a big game for us. We'll see what we can do here. As you can see, College Europa and Lincoln Redham's both played more games than us. Top 2 in the league right now. I don't like that. I want to get above them, but this is going to be a tricky game for us here. As I said, we have our team selection sorted for this opening game. Of course, just 2 episodes ago in the first game of the year, we took on Gibraltar Lions in the Pepe Reyes Cup and we scraped through 1-0. Now, I don't want that again today. I want a convincing win. And, well, I'm hoping that our team are going to do that for us today. Going to try and motivate them. We are, of course, playing at the Space Park today, which is always good. We have a strong team at our disposal, of course. However, Gibraltar Lions, they've bolstered their team in recent years. They've lost a few players, they've gained some new ones. But I think it's fair to say that they are a team that we have to be wary of now. We only beat them 1-0 in the Pepe Reyes Cup. They have threats going forward. And, well, we need to defend early on here. Although, can we make something happen? Why not? Okay, this is the pointless highlight, isn't it, from kickoff? Nothing ever happens in this highlight. No matter how long it... Okay, I take it all back. Go on, Rildo. He's on his own up front, the lone striker. He wins a penalty. I mean, fair play. Fair play. I think Saul, the player who gave that away, is one of our former players. Either way, I think this is going to be Girard to step up to take this out, or it might be Dews. I'm not sure who I've got on penalties at the moment. I have got Girard on them. He takes his shot. He scores. A minute and a half in. I take back everything I said about the opening highlight. Girard, he got a hat-trick, actually, in the game against Lynx in the first game of the year that we won 6-0, and he also got 2 assists in that game. He is stepping up to the plate to hopefully be the Mosca successor. I want to say Mosca successor, but Mosca's going to be back hopefully in 4 to 5 months and kind of at his best. But certainly in his absence, Girard has really stepped up to the plate. We might have another chance. A sad near post header. 2 goals already. That is more goals than we scored against them in the Pepe Reyes Cup. An ideal start to this game. Bouchard with the cross in, and then Jorge Assad nods it down. Keeper in no man's land. It's a great towering header. Questionable marking, certainly. And, well, it's the perfect start against our rivals here in episode 150. Of course, a monumental landmark to reach. We want to mark the occasion with a memorable win here against our rivals if we can. And, well, Young collects that corner, now booting it up to Rildo, who nods it down nicely to Paul Smith. However, he gets dispossessed. Assad, though, on the cover. Does go straight back to Gibraltar Lions, but again, we get the ball. Lions trying to play some direct play, not really finding their men. And now Girard, I mean, he's gone for the sublime. It's not worked out for him there. Goes way, way wide of the mark in the end by the Belgium. Looking at the stats, we have almost 60% of the possession. We are dominating it. Gibraltar Lions with just the 1 shot on target so far. And we're on the attack here. Graffiti. Can he make something happen? He can. And Rildo finished that off in the end. That's a nice little goal for him. I mentioned the fact that I hadn't changed a lot about the team. Worth knowing that Graf Wright is playing at right back for us today. A player who I really like. I like the fact he's been at the club so long. Of course, Gibraltarian too. And of course, former Brazilian. I'm hoping that Mosca will, of course, follow in his footsteps and decide to take up Gibraltarian nationality and play for the national team. Either way, 3-0 up here against our rivals. The half-time whistle hasn't even gone yet. It's been an expert display. We might even have another chance. Ball whipped in. Gerrard can't score. Rildo to Smith. Smith hits the woodwork. That could have made it 4-0 before the break. But in truth, we couldn't have wished for a better first half to the game. I'm very pleased with what I've seen from the team. Joe Bouchard 2 assists. Rildo with a goal and assist. Jorge Assad and Gerrard with goals themselves as well. This has been a great start to episode 150. You know, we go into this game, perhaps the easiest of the 3 we've got, because the doubleheader against Bayern is going to be tricky, and there's a lot of pressure on our shoulders, I guess, after the Utrecht result. But no, this has been a great start here for us in the Primera Division. We are looking strong. If we can get a few more goals, fantastic. We want to demoralise the opposition if we can. Worth noting, in Gibraltar Lions' opening game of the year, they played kind of FC, well, I was about to say FC United and Manchester. Manchester 62, a team who are a good team, Manchester, but you'd still expect Lions to beat them convincingly, and in the end the result was 1-0 to Gibraltar Lions. Paul Smith, what a back heel that was. That was a sick... Can we rewind? Sorry, I want to watch... If you missed this, I mean, tab out of your FMs. The cross comes in, bit of build-up play, Graf right, crosses it in, headed away, Bouchard to... Was it Paul Smith with the back heel? I think it was. It was. Paul Smith here, one touch. Oh, look at that. Outside the foot scoop turn thing. I don't think it was actually a back heel. Either way, Gerrard scores. It's 4-0. Gerrard wants his hat-trick. We're on the attack again. Gerrard with the ball. Lays it to Bouchard, who has 2 assists already. Rildo can't get on the end of it, but now Thiago with it. Graf right. Back post, Paul Smith. Tries to nod it back into the mixer. Lions collect it, but Thiago wins the ball back with a crunching tackle. Dudes, can he pick out his countryman? Gerrard was looking for his hat-trick there at the near post. Didn't find its way to him, but the pressure maintains, and we're on the attack again here. Rildo, he looked offside. He shoots. It isn't given offside. That was a half chance. Paul Smith couldn't get the ball into the box, but still a set piece here. Ball whipped in. I mean, this is enjoyable. We are putting Gibraltar Lions to the sword. They are not enjoying this game. We are dominating this. I wish we could have done this in the Pepe Reyes Cup, and that game could have been a little bit more comfortable. I kind of went into this game off the back of that 1-0 win, which was a very narrow game against Gibraltar Lions. Worried that this is the kind of game that, you know, one day might mark the end of our crazy unbeaten run in the Primera Division, which stretches back almost 400 games at this point. Looks like today, at least, that record is not going to be lost, and that is something that I can say with a big smile on our face. Gibraltar Lions, of course, not in the Champions League this year, but they are in the Europa League, and, well, they've been largely disappointing here. Ball whipped in, Assad deals with it well. Bouchard collects. Joe Bouchard, a player who's not played much for us this year, well, perhaps fighting his way back into first-team contention. We've given him an opportunity here to try and make something happen, and he's given a fantastic account of himself, it's fair to say. If we can keep a clean sheet, that would be nice, although Lions on the attack. Eder heads it against the crossbar from point blank. I mean, if there was a way to sum up this game, I think that summed it up quite nicely. Anyway, let's make a double change here. I am going to bring in Fernando Oliveira for a debut, £12 million man, a player who's been out injured. We're going to play him out on the left. I see him as a potential successor to Paul Smith, if not just kind of a long-term alternative. I think the other change we'll make is we will take off Thiago and we will bring in Volsky for him. Just to get some fresh legs in the midfield. Thiago's not had a terrible game. I mean, there's not been a lot required of him in the defensive midfielder position, to be fair. So I feel like to criticise him for his defensive contribution would be extremely harsh whilst we have this clean sheet. But he hasn't had a massive impact on this game. Rildo has picked up a back strain. Hopefully that's nothing serious. We will take him off just to be safe. Rildo, a player who was desperate to get first-team football this year. I promised it him kind of off the back, really, of Mosca's injury. And, well, hopefully that back strain isn't a long-term injury, because he's a player who's been pretty useful for us so far this season. Either way, 10 seconds into what the ref has given. I mean, they've scored with the last kick of the game, Gibraltar Lions. It's Kotelik giving the fans a little bit to celebrate, perhaps, for Gibraltar Lions. But in truth, it's a consolation. I think a lot of the fans have already left the ground. It's disappointing, I guess. Mustafa and Assad, just no real cohesion there. No one calling and leading kind of commandingly in the box there to come and meet that header. And ultimately, we've conceded so late on. A disappointing way to end the game. I wanted the clean sheet, but regardless, 4-1. A fantastic result. I am very pleased with that performance. As I said, hopefully that Rildo injury isn't going to be too long-term. We do go top of the league, of course, on goal difference. And, well, we couldn't ask for more. Rildo is out for 3 to 4 weeks. We will leave that to the physio. Unfortunately, I do think that will think that will mean he'll miss the Bayern game. You can see here we played Bayern Munich actually in about 2.5 weeks' time, so he might be fit, probably won't be, but certainly for that second game against Bayern he will be. Either way, we've got one game in between that and the Bayern game. There's an international break as well. Stick around, let's continue episode 150 and get into the first of our 2 Bayern Munich ties. Okay guys, so we are back here for the second game of today's live com. Going to be taking on Bayern Munich at home. Hopefully a result that we can make go our way, particularly, of course, off the back of what is fair to say has been a less than ideal start to our Champions League campaign. We have 3 points, which I guess is something, but with Bayern unbeaten in their opening 2, there's quite a bit of pressure on us to at least get 1 win in these 2 games that we are going to have against them today. Anyway, let's get straight into today's game against Bayern. In terms of the team, this is the squad we are going to go with. In terms of the back 5, pretty standard there. I think in midfield is where things are going to get a little bit more interesting. I think I am going to play Mini Mosca at centre mid defend. Worth noting that he has made his first international appearance for Spain. He's done a bit of a Diego Costa in terms of the fact he was eligible for both Spain and Brazil, and he has elected to play for Spain, actually initially following, playing 22 games for the Brazil under-20s side. So a bit of a backstab there, perhaps. A little bit disappointing, you know, I would have loved to have seen him playing for Gibraltar, but that said, it's still a pretty good team. Perhaps the only real shock inclusion here is the fact I'm going to try Berger in centre attacking mid today, and we'll see how Clement gets on. He's a good player, he can definitely do something for us through the middle of the pitch, and I'm hoping that he can maybe offer us a little bit of an X factor that we have lacked in some of our games. Anyway, looking at the odds here, it's a pretty tight game. Bayern Munich are tipped to be the favourites, and apparently the absence of Mosca is going to hit us hard. Of course, whilst that absence is a kind of an unfortunate one, I guess, not to have Mosca, we knew he wasn't going to be fit for this game. We knew he wasn't going to be fit for the entire group stage, really. That can't be a factor in kind of our team's mentality going into this game. Of course, we are at home here at the Space Park, so really, this is one of our best chances to kind of just try and make something happen here against Bayern. We're going to persevere with the 4-2-3-1. I do feel like the game against Utrecht last episode was a bit of a one-off in some ways. You know, they scored from a set piece, we had an own goal. We very much shot ourselves in the foot. So we'll see how we get on here. Anyway, Utrecht actually going down early on to Swansea, which is a good result as far as we're concerned. A draw or a defeat in that game is what we want for Utrecht. But right now, let's focus on our game. Bayern on the attack, lots of play at the edge of the area. Volsky trying to close down. And, well, you'd have to say lovely play there by Bayern. The finish deserved to be better. And, well, they have had the better of the early exchanges here in this game. Possession very much 50-50. Bayern with that clear-cut chance, which they did squander. But they will have another chance here. Ball whipped in. It's a set piece which has hit the post. We are having far too many set pieces cause us trouble here. And that in itself is just a little bit concerning. I do feel like we're getting bossed around a little bit too much for my liking in the midfield. So I'm going to drop back Paul Smith and Berger just to play a little bit deeper for us. And play as wide midfielders on attack. I think we're also going to switch to just kind of a flat back 4 here. Perhaps a little bit reactionary here by me. I don't want to say I'm panicking necessarily, but you know, I'm trying to make changes which are going to hopefully have the impact we want them to have in this game. And I feel like, given how this opening has gone in this game, perhaps trying to play a little bit more conservative with our midfield, trying to get a few more men behind the ball and then break quickly might be the way to go. We're going to switch to a counter mentality and see how that works for us. Either way, they're on the attack here. Ball whipped in across the area. I mean, Kabasele had time to deal with that. Ball whipped in. Kabasele does deal with it again this time. It's a lot of hoof ball from us here. Kabasele, again, I mean, he's getting involved in the play, and now we do have possession. Mini Mosca, can he find a big ball over the top to Girard? He can. Can Girard now weave some magic? He beats 2 men. Can he find a finish at the end of it? He can't. Hamid Bar, a familiar name, of course, with the save. Almost forgot he was a Bayern player for a second. He's been a thorn in our side a number of times, and right there, Girard. He could have scored an absolute wonder goal. Hamid Bar with a fantastic little save. Gaiganov with a cynical foul there, probably going to get a yellow. Hopefully not a red. Really can't deal with going down a man here. And he will get a yellow card for what was, as I said, it's just a cynical foul really to prevent a breakaway. Either way, 0-0 here at half-time. Definitely not the worst result in the world. Just going to tell the players they've been unlucky and try and be a little bit motivating, I guess, with the team. It's been okay. It's not been great going forward, but we've remained firm at the back. We did have that half chance through Girard. But really, we've not looked like scoring in this game just yet. We have got Douz on the bench. Part of me is contemplating switching to a 4-4-2 early on in the game, or rather early on in this second half. I feel like we'll persevere with what we're playing at the moment. 60 minutes now gone, 15 minutes into the second half. Not a lot happening either way. We do have the ball here. Mustafa on a booking. Got to be wary of that. We have got a few defenders in that situation. Junior out on the right. Whips the ball in. It's a penalty. Benjamin Sturm with the foul. And it's going to be Sebastian Girard to step up with a chance to put us ahead in this Bayern game. A high-pressure penalty, you'd have to say. We've not had many chances. Can Gibraltar fire us ahead? He steps up, he hits it, and he finds the back of the net. The Belgium, cool and composed. His 13th goal of the season. And with that result, we do move top of the group, which would be an absolutely monumental achievement. You'd have to say in this game, we've been fortunate. We've ridden our luck. But at the same time, the defensive mentality that we've kind of adopted seems to have served the team quite well. That said, I am now going to just switch to be a little bit more defensive in our kind of mindset. 66 minutes gone now, 20 minutes left of this game. Just get a few more men behind the ball. We're on the attack again here. Girard, big ball over the top to him. Can he double our lead? He hits the woodwork and he hits it again. In fact, no, it was Hamid Bar with the save. You'd have to say we've kind of got a little bit of a spell of dominance going here. 2 clear-cut chances, 3 half chances. We're leading away in terms of the shots total. We've got more possession. This is how we want to end the game. This has been a much better second half performance. And we're on the attack again here. Berger gives away the ball though. 2-on-2 here. Despite the fact we're playing on counter, we've perhaps been caught short at the back. Mini Moscow with a shocking back pass. Not the first time we've had one of those in this European campaign. However, it was a poor finish in the end, really. I think that's the only way you can really describe it. By the striker there for Bayern, had a real opportunity. We're going to make some changes in this game. We've got some tired players. I think I'm going to bring in Grafreich in place of Gaiganov, who's struggling a little bit. Don't want to change that entire team too much here. I think with our last change, we'll bring on Gilvan to get some fresh legs, hopefully in the kind of attacking midfielder spot. But in truth, this is a kind of a performance here for our defenders to perform well. There is 1 minute and 40 seconds left and perhaps still a chance. Bayern committing men forward. That said, we are the team on the break here. Girard, no one alongside him. Could have to be an incredible solo effort. It gets tackled, but Gilvan picks it up. Again, no one in support. We are sitting back at this point. Girard, though, turns his man. Can't finish it. Hamid Bar with another fantastic save. You'd have to say we could have been a few goals ahead in this game. With 50 seconds left, however, we're on contain. We're just trying to, see out the minutes now. And while Girard with the ball here, no one really alongside him. Perhaps a little bit of a problem we've got to deal with here as the ball flies towards the back post, but it will get headed wide. That's probably all she wrote. We could be about to get a really, really important 1-0 win here. It's not been the most convincing performance in the world. Both teams had chances. The difference was we took the penalty that came our way, and it was a solid defensive display. All in all, a fantastic defensive performance. And as I said, that result sees us move top of what is a very, very tight Champions League group here, with Swansea beating Utrecht in the other game. So things going our way really as far as we're concerned. Of course, one more game to come this episode. It's away against Bayern. If we can perform how we did in that second half right there, I have some optimism going into that next game that we can make something happen. Hopefully you guys will stick around for that. Let's get into it. There are a few games in between. You guys don't want to see them. We apparently got a controversial penalty. I'm not going to complain one little bit. Let's get into the game in Germany. And I will see you guys on the 7th of November for what is a massive and potentially deciding game in our Champions League campaign. So here we are, guys, back again. It's the third and final game of this episode 150. It's actually the day after the previous two games that really went well for us. Just a quick look, you can see that we beat St. Joseph's and Glasgow United very convincingly in the Primera Division. Of course, today we are going to be taking on Bayern Munich again, knowing that a win would really put us in an absolutely fantastic position in the group. That said, however, going away from home, going to the Allianz Arena, never going to be easy. In terms of the team that we are going to be lining up with, it's relatively unchanged. There's not been too much in the way of team news. The only bit of news perhaps to be somewhat wary of is the fact that, as you can see here, Paul Smith is out at the moment, which is a little bit of a problem, but we do have Oliveira, who is going to come into the team. Oliveira. I don't know. Answers on a postcard. He's Uruguayan, of course. He can play out on the left. He's either-footed. I'm kind of excited to see what this guy can do. He's come in to be a backup for us for a hefty fee, no less. £13 million. And whilst he gave some pretty okay performances, I guess, for Inter, he was certainly playing regular first-team football. It's games like this where he comes into our side where he's really going to be, I guess, defined as a player for us. Anyway, in terms of the team that we're going to go with, I think I've got to play Doos today. And we're going to play Girard in behind, Junior out on the right. In centre mid, I'm going to go with Mini Mosca and Volsky for today's game. Mini Mosca, of course, now the Spanish international. Loads of people were asking me to call him Moschino or Moschino, you know, some kind of Mini Mosca Brazilian translation. Now that he's declared for Spain, I feel like it'd be treacherous to do that. He is now known as Mini Mosca from now until the end of time, I'm afraid. Alongside him, of course, we have Volsky, the Polish centre mid. A very good playmaker. That's where he's going to be playing today as well for us. In terms of the back four, it's the same back four that you've seen all the time. Assad, of course, leading the way alongside Mustafa. But all in all, just a really stellar kind of defensive lineup that we have. And hopefully these guys can give the performance today that we need. So anyway, let's get into this game. Sebastian Girard going to be given the captain's armband, of course, going away from home to Bayern. They're going to want to get some revenge. Looking at the group here, you can see the Champions League group is very, very close. In an ideal situation, Swansea and Utrecht will draw. That would help us out an absolute metric ton. In reality, though, we don't want to be relying on their games. We want to win this kind of game, despite perhaps it being somewhat against the odds for us to do so. And, well, a win here, as I said, it would put us in kind of pole position, you'd say, in this group to really make it out of it. So let's see what we can do. Of course, we did beat Bayern 1-0 through that penalty that Girard scored last time out. I'm hoping that we can give a somewhat more convincing performance in this game, but, you know, it's going to be a challenging match, to say the least, as they're on the attack already. Koban with an effort hits the side netting. I mean, that's a bit of a warning there. A clear-cut chance after 5 minutes. Bayern finding a lot of time and space kind of in our defensive third. They're still not done either. The ball coming inside. Young with a nice save there. That was a great save by Ludwig Young. Claws it away. Gives away the corner, which is whipped in. Assad knocks it out. And, well, we live to fight another day. But early on, Bayern Munich with some pressure. Now a set piece whipped in. Headed away by Doos, but the pressure still going to be on us here. The ball finds its way into the near post. Saved by Ludwig Young. A nice save. Another clear-cut chance for Bayern. Well, I was about to say, hopefully they won't regret missing these chances. Of course, I hope they're going to... they've just scored. They've just... Right. Well, I was about to go more defensive. But I can't do that because we've just conceded immediately. I talked about the fact that would they kind of... I guess, be annoyed that they missed those chances. Could they live to regret it? Not immediately, at least. They've scored as I've gone to make a tactical change. Although the player was through here, I thought the chance had gone. It comes in. And that is Mustafa at right back, just sleepwalking in the centre. That is not good enough. We're going to make some changes. I'm going to drop Mini Mosca in to be a defensive mid on support. I'm also going to drop Volsky. I don't think he can play centre defensive mid. No, he can't. But we'll play him as a deep line playmaker on defend, I think. Just getting ourselves a little bit more, perhaps, solidity in the final third. That said, I think we're going to ask Junior and Oliveira to just push on a little bit for us. And, well, we'll see what they can do for us going forward. So, a little bit more defensive, perhaps, in the centre of the pitch, but looking to exploit the wings if we can with our pacey wingers. There's still plenty of time left in this game, and, well, with 30 minutes gone... Well, I thought we were going to have half a chance. It's wasteful by Doos, and, well, Bayern, they are going to come again. Cleared, however, straight to our man. Girard with some time and space. Freds in Doos. That looked like a foul. It's not been given. We're applying some pressure, though, and now Hamid Bar gives it straight to Volsky. Nice build-up play here in the middle. Can we have an end product? Doos. Out to Gaiganov on the right. Crosses it in. Sebastian Girard misses a real chance. Girard, a player who's shown fantastic kind of striker pedigree so far this season, missing... what you'd say is an easy chance in truth for a player of his quality. Unfortunately, didn't find the back of the net this time. And, well, now it's Bayern with the ball. Bringing it forward, some extensive pressure. Koban, the right back, whips in. Young, what a save that is by the keeper. The ball's still in the mixer. And we've managed to deal with it. Ludwig Young, what a save that was. Can we now counter? No, we can't. That is a wasteful pass there by Doos, who's not having the best of games. Kabasele at left back also struggling quite a bit here. And, well, with 40 minutes gone... fair to say that Bayern have been the better team in this game, I think. Anyway, we've got to try and make something happen here. I'm going to tell the boys I'm expecting a much better showing. I want to get them fired up. With about 60 minutes gone, maybe a tad sooner, the game doesn't change, I will be changing our tactics and going more narrow, I think. I think we'll switch to the 4-3-1-2. But we'll give our players kind of a chance to prove themselves off the back of that team talk, off the back of kind of being a little bit aggressive with them. Let's see if they can step it up in the second half and give a much better performance. Big ball over the top. I mean, this is not the sign we want to see. They score. Bayern Munich. I said it might happen before the 60th minute, these changes. I didn't really want it to be for the reason of the fact that we'd conceded prior. That said, we've got the ability to change our team around here. Of course, Oliveira can play centre mid. I'm going to take off Junior. He's not had a crazy game, but to be fair, no one really has on our team. But yeah, we'll bring in Berger. We're going to go Kabasele and Gaikinov, obviously play more attacking in the fullback positions. Going to try a different approach to this game now because, well, we have to go from 2 goals behind and try and get something here. And whilst we have done that once already in this competition against Swansea, we know that, of course, when we went 3-0 down against Utrecht, we left ourselves too much to do. We left ourselves in a big rut, really. And, well, I'm a little bit worried that perhaps in delaying the tactical changes, which I was contemplating doing and kind of deciding to just let the second half play out, I perhaps shot myself in the foot in terms of I should have made the decision sooner. I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I think it's a fair assessment there. I knew what we were doing wasn't working. Kabasele's really struggling. That said, I mean, he immediately gets up from a 6.2 to a 6.7 with the new system. Maybe suiting him a little bit better. In terms of the chances, just not a lot happening, really. It's fair to say 20 minutes gone. We're struggling to find any shots and get anything away here. I've got to go more attacking at this point. There's no point in sitting and being defensive. We're going to change some things right here, right now. We're going to bring in Rildo, I think. We're behind in this game, but we can still fight back, and that is exactly what we are going to be looking to do in this match. Let's see how we do get on here. In terms of the team, we're going to go a little bit floaty with some of our players, but it's still going to be a fairly attacking team. We're going to go with 2 complete forwards on attack and a complete forward on support with Berger. I think playing behind as a shadow striker. We need him pushing on forward. The fullbacks as well. We might as well push them forward kind of a little bit more here. I'm going to play them as complete wing-backs on support. Going to be asking a lot of them in the kind of remaining 17 minutes of this game to defend as well as kind of attack. This may kind of just backfire horribly, but I'd much rather try and make something happen here against Bayern than kind of sit and be victims. I say that, I mean, we've conceded from a set piece. That isn't anything to do with the tactics or the system. That is just very poor defensive kind of display, and it's something that we've seen from this team a lot. I think it's fair to say we've been disappointing from set pieces. And, well, what has been a very good episode 150 in the first 2 matches, unfortunately, this third match, a complete turnaround. Going to be leaving ourselves with a lot to do. Swansea beating Utrecht 3-1 kind of leaves things in an interesting situation as well. Of course, we beat Swansea, so we're in a good position there, but you'd have to think that our remaining 2 games in the Champions League are going to be 2 games which we absolutely have to win to stand any chance. And, well, in this game here, we need to forget about it. It was a poor game. It was not a good performance by any means. I feel like that early second half goal really set the tone for the rest of the game. You know, if we'd got the goal there, it might give us a chance, or even if we don't concede, you know, only a goal down, you might be okay. It's kind of a situation whereby conceding so early on in the second half, just any momentum, any kind of game plan that I had going into that half, immediately righted off, players hedge dropping. Just not a great time, really. Either way, though, that is going to wrap up this episode from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As I said at the start, if we could hit 1,000 likes, that'd be really nice. If you've got any comments about the first 150 episodes of this series, feel free to leave them down in the comments. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, as I already said. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.